Welcome to Part 5 of the Clearspan Baum training series. Here's the link to the training videos and presentations, along with a link to the OpEasy training, including OpEasy 21.1. Part 5 covers creating Intrado emergency response locations, also referred to as ERLs, using the enhancements in the OpEasy 21.1 release. Part 5. The release of OpEasy 21.1 focused on the addition of a 911 services section that provides an API integration into the Intrado emergency routing service. The objective was to provide a single portal for both Clearspan provisioning and ERS provisioning, along with automating multiple ERS provisioning rule sets. OpEasy previously supported an integration with the Intrado Emergency Gateway and now has a new menu selection for the Intrado Emergency Routing Service. The first two menu items are only for the Clearspan operations team, but I wanted to give you some insight on how the emergency response location management is prepared for the customer's OpEasy administrators. The first item, accounts, will create an Intrado ERS account. The second item, assignment, is utilized to associate an Intrado ERS account with a Clearspan enterprise. An Intrado ERS account represents an entire enterprise and does not have a smaller granularity that equates to groups or departments. I'm stating the obvious, but I wanted to make sure that you knew the ERL management sequence requires that the emergency response location be created first, and then it can be assigned to Clearspan devices. Also, ERLs are only to be associated with devices, not users. As an OpEasy administrator, when selecting the ERL management, OpEasy will present this screen for listing and adding emergency response locations to the emergency routing service. The ability to add ERLs can be assigned to enterprise administrators and group administrators. When an administrator selects Add, OpEasy will present this screen to provide the data required for the ERL. The ERL name is meant to be an intuitive label for the administrator. It has a limit of 32 characters, including spaces. The next section is the civic address, comprised of the postal address, but also includes a location field that should be used for additional location information like floor number and/or room number. The last entry for the civic address is the description field. This is meant to be an intuitive label to describe the location field that may not provide assistance for the first responders. For example, engineering lab or the HR office. When a 911 call is made, both the postal address and the location information is presented with the call. The description information is not provided with the call. The last section is the routing options. This provides some call handling options for 911 calls. The delivery method controls whether a 911 call goes just to the PSAP or a 911 call center or to a local certified security team or both. The custom callback is intended to be used for devices without a 10-digit DID number. The custom callback number is used if the original 911 call gets disconnected, and it should be a 10-digit DID that will connect the PSAP or a certified security team to someone in the same vicinity as the device that made the original 911 call. The last entry for the routing option is notification email that is triggered by the 911 call with this ERL. This can be multiple emails separated by commas and can also include email addresses that get translated into text messages. The email to text alerts will typically be noticed faster than the standard email. The notification email field supports several hundred characters. This is an example of showing some additional fields in the routing options section when the conference option is selected. The security desk DID is a 10-digit DID that the Intrado ERS will use to conference in the security team. The notification display can be set to either original calling party name that was presented to the ERS with the 911 call, or can be modified to assist the security team's reaction to the call. The last field is the security desk mute option that will allow the call to be presented to the security team with the team muted for listen-only calls or unmuted to interact with the PSAP and the 911 call originator. An administrator can also export the list of enterprise emergency response locations using an OpEasy enterprise export type. The export can include any or all of the following 5 options: departments, emergency call notification, enterprise voice VPN, ERL records, and phone numbers. There is an option for the administrator to receive email notifications with or without the Excel spreadsheet. The retrieve function allows an administrator to request a specific file. There is a search criteria function to specify conditions for what is exported. The export can be executed immediately or be scheduled to execute. The emergency response locations can also be created and or modified in bulk utilizing the enterprise import type. The import options are similar, except the import has a provisioning spreadsheet function for an administrator to specify the specific file to import. This is a screenshot of the entire ERL records tab, and I will cover a section at a time in the next few slides. The first 4 columns of the spreadsheet contain the status for the import that was executed, followed by the command for each row entry, which has the options of add, modify, or delete. The next column is the ERL name. This field is limited to 32 characters, including spaces, and OpEasy requires that the ERL name be unique for each dispatchable location. The 4th column is the ERL ID. Every ERL ID in the Intrado ERS service must be unique. So when adding a new ERL name, leave this field blank, and the ERS will create the new ERL ID automatically, ensuring a system-wide unique ID. The next set of columns are the postal address and the additional location information that will be sent with a 911 call. Again, the description column is meant to be an intuitive description of the location. The last set of columns address the routing and call handling for each emergency response location. The last column will contain information if an error occurs during an import. Now that we have covered creating an emergency response location, please proceed to Part 6, where we will cover assigning ERLs to non-held capable desk phones. The Clearspan team would like to thank you for your time spent reviewing this information, and we look forward to our collective future. Thank you.